Peace, love, and coconut oil family. Another installment in Little Empire. Give thanks for a positive day today, though man's a bit knackered really. So if you see those bags on me, don't really dig nothing. But just wanted to have a bill, already, always to edify and make us ascend within our consciousness and our knowledge and understanding. This video, what sparked this video really is here in St. Lucia. As of recently, they've had a talk show, you can say, on one of the local channels called Talk Truth to Power, hosted by a good version of mine called Muspass and another brother called Joe Knows. It's on every Wednesday around 9. Not that this is some promotion for the show, but it's good as local people to even tune in to even some form of social media where it is from the people and it's not always in conformity to even the contemporary what's really going on. You know what I mean? It's a different strain of thought. Let's just put it that way. So ultimately, the show really is about the vaccines and what have you. But most of the time, it actually turns into some kind of religious talk, family. And you find a lot of the callers who call in actually getting the vibe and they're on the way in regards to understanding certain information, getting access to certain information, doing their own research, you can say. But a lot of these individuals, let us not forget, okay, being in the Caribbean and being victims of this acculturation process, we seem to think that this Christianity thing belongs to us. So you'll hear people calling in and talking about ancient Christians and and how is the King James version of the Bible that is just off and has these contradictions in it, but the scriptures before that are basically holy. So when they say that, they're talking about the Latin Vulgate, talking about the Geneva Bible, they're talking about the Great Bible. They had so many Bibles. I forgot to ask them which one specifically, because it's not just because of the King James version we got a different Bible from those previous texts. You understand? So last show day I had to call in. I had to really call in to show some vibes there, and after I called in, I was basically in the chat room and having a build with one of the sisterens in there, and the sister based she want to have a reason with me, because she doesn't know me, so she basically want to have a reason with me to make me understand Elohim. So first thing I made her know, guys, so you know what, Elohim not African, Check what I'm telling you. Elohim not African. And these people in the Bible called Israelites, or however you want to call them, God's chosen, whatever you want to call them, are not you black people. This is not your story. They have some elements in the story that obviously if you look at it, you see like it's black people it's speaking about. But those elements were even added on later, like a famous one is actually Deuteronomy chapter 28. In the original scriptures, in the original Septuagint, that was never included, family. That's something they added later on. Again, to make the black man feel that, the book is about you, and if you just be obedient and just obey and believe and have faith, everything will be okay. Now, the thing is, everyone, don't get us wrong, everyone is entitled to their own belief. But the thing is, we need proper information to make a decision, which basically a decision, when you make a decision, you are taking a particular position after much consideration. Now, what would make you have different considerations? What would make your mind wander on different possibilities is the information you are presented, family. Now, if we're coming straight from slavery, acculturation, Christianity making its fingers from us, that is the only tool we've had. So that is like you go in and buy bread in a bakery and they just have big bread only. No small bread, no wheat bread, no nothing like that. It's just big bread only. So you just have to make that decision. But we're basically in the age of information. So you need to be presented with as many facts, evidence, peer review articles, different books, so you can have an ample amount of information to make a proper conclusion, family. Now, this again is the reason for this channel, because it gives off, what I seek to do really is present you with different forms of information, different perspectives, show you my perception, okay, and you can match that up with what you know, what you've heard, what you've read, and see if Simon actually making sense. So in regards to black people now, the Christianity was the only choice we have, but now in the age of information, we be presented with how many historical facts, family, that if you still subscribe to that belief system, again, everyone is entitled to their own belief, but when you are presented with a wide range of information and you can make a correct assessment and decision or conclusion, there is no way you will pick that. And you'll only pick that if you're basically afraid, or you skeptical, or like you think probably God going to smite you or something because your faith so strong in the Bible. You know what I mean? That is the only way you would still latch on to this Judeo-Christian mindset. Okay? Now, in regards to the ancient Christians topic, what ancient Christians? I would like to know, please. What ancient Christians? We are not talking about BC period, but we do know from the Greeks took over in 342 BCE, and Ptolemy, Alexander the First, then Ptolemy the Second. It was just the Ptolemaic dynasty. From Ptolemy the Second, even from Ptolemy the First, when Alan made himself the old Serapis, we can see that was actually the beginning and the creation, okay, of these people creating a deity so that they can be venerated. You see what I'm saying? Because when you go into Greek history, you will see how Serapis, okay, or even Oser or Osiris, they actually made into the character called Zeus Ammon. So it's all a copy and a plagiarization of culture, family. So even from the time of Ptolemy the First making that graven image in veneration of him, and then after that you have them making the scriptures, because the Septuagint came from Ptolemy the Second's time, his era. Create the deity, create the scriptures. Ptolemy the Third, what did he actually do? He created the Serapeum, which is where they went to worship Serapis with the scriptures. Okay, now since that time, remember, after the Greeks, the Romans conquered. So we have the doctrine changing slightly, but they're like the Romans just piggyback off of what the Greeks were doing. Because in around 134 AD, because remember the Romans conquered in around 30 BC. So 30 to 0, and then we go into the 100 AD, coming into the AD period, which we are in right now presently. In 134 AD, this emperor called Emperor Hadrian, who built a wall in Britain, right, wrote a letter to Servianus saying what he's saying there in Egypt, is like what are going on there. Because you see, the people that worship Serapis are referred to as Christians, and the people who minister to Serapis are called the bishops of Christ. So if you're talking about ancient Christians, to me that is the only set of Christians you can be pointing at. They have no Christians before that, and we actually have them being referred to as Christians in the letter. Now I find a lot of scholars don't really want to take on that particular letter and that particular topic, because if they had to, family, it will look like, probably there is no Jesus, and Serapis is actually that Jesus character. So they don't want to do that, to blow the cover of the whole Roman Empire and the greatest, not just the greatest story ever told, the greatest lie ever told. So they don't want to do that, so they will just brush it to the side. But as researchers, when we go in now, we have to bring what is overlooked and bring the facts to you, family. So evidently, this letter, Emperor Hadrian is saying to Servianus that he's saying Christians, the people call themselves Christians that worship Serapis. And those that minister to him, like priests do, are called the bishops of Christ. Don't forget, it was called Serapis Christos. You see? So the ancient Christians thing, and when the show come in this Wednesday, for those, if you're not in St. Lucia and you have the local channel, it's actually on Facebook. If type Talk Truth to Power around 9 on Wednesday or something, you must see it, and you can even search it to get the episodes that have been aired. Okay, so I will be calling again this Wednesday to set straight that ancient Christians thing. What I called in the last time, I had to actually touch on so many different topics, family, because the information is there, but it's not organized. It's just a whole jumble up mess. You know what I mean? And while I do not know it all, what I know, I would like to actually share with the family, because I mean, I never say I'm a master teacher. I'm a master student. I can even call myself a grandmaster student, because when I do study something, I study it. You see what I'm saying? It's only probably some sources I didn't have the opportunity to get at that particular time, because they have had topics I've done and videos I've done, family, where after the video I actually get more information. I get a book on the topic and I'm like, what? If I do a whole video on that again, it's just a long thing, so I will just allow it. You understand? So again, in regards to the ancient Christians, we can only go back to Emperor Hadrian time, which is still the AD period, 1st century AD period. Okay, that is one. Then the system would be like, oh, you cannot understand what Elohim has to say. And another thing, this Elohim thing, Elohim is actually plural, the plural form of the word El, family. El just means the God, but the El and the Elohim, the root of it is actually Canaanite, even Phoenician in origin. So I'm trying to show this sister that the sister is like, oh, Elohim is just the master and the creator of the universe. She doesn't really care about his origin. And I'm like, yo, this religion thing cannot have our people more blind and confused than they already are. Because you mean to tell me you believe in a deity? I'm showing you the root of the deity. It is not African. You see what I'm telling you? You don't care about the origin. You just know it's just Elohim. Really? So the same deity, the people you think you are from the Bible, the Israelites, the same deity, the Elohim, they actually stole the deity from another set of people that they say that are cursed. Because remember, cursed be Canaan. And it's ultimately, if the people curse and the deity is cursed, you're not even supposed to be taking the people's deity to now call your God and them kind of thing. I myself will burn a fire on that. Straight. You check it, so don't come and tell me nothing about Elohim this and Elohim that, I'm not on that. I'm not on that. And Elohim not African. Even though you might try and argue and say, well, the ancient Canaanites were black people, and it is not it is not an African deity. I don't have nothing to do with that before the time. Now people have been calling on that deity for as long as I can remember, and no change. So honestly, I don't want to hear nothing about that. That's number one. Then the situation wants to tell me about through the power of discernment that Elohim show her, she can already see that I'm not chosen, like I have rejected Elohim, so as a result I do not have the Holy Spirit with me. So the Holy Spirit, you sure it's the Holy Spirit you're speaking about? Or what kind of spirit really? What spirit? Because there are so many spirits in the Bible. They have the Holy Spirit, they have the familiar spirit, they have the Spirit of God, they have the spirit of jealousy, they have the Spirit of the Lord. Everything is spirit, all about the place. So don't come and have me on that Holy Spirit and them kind of thing there. Like, I'll burn that out again, but I'll burn it out with intelligence and sound reasoning. So then I went ahead and I asked her, do you know the etymology of the word spirit? Because this English language, Anglo-Saxon language we speak in, has its origin in other languages, be it Old French, be it Latin, be it late Egyptian, what have you. So do you know the origin of the word spirit? He's like, no. I was like, okay, spirit goes back to Latin, goes back to spirare, which means breath. Now some of them people, family, when you reason with them, you kind of have to bring the scriptures to them for them to see what you say. So one time I tell her, as spirit means breath, right? Breath, the wind. In Genesis, when it says God created man and then he blew the breath of life into his nostrils, and man created a living soul. So I tell her, is the spirit God gave Adam when he created Adam that made him a living soul? So if the generations of the world came from Adam, how you come and try and tell me now is some people that have the spirit and some don't have it, and you confusing me there. Right now you're just talking a whole set of belief gibberish. You check it? Because this spirit means breath. If we do not breathe, family, and that's one of the automated functions of the anatomy, So we breathe in without even knowing it. It's only when we enter into meditation or we are conscious of our breathing, we actually take control of our lungs and our respiratory system. You see, so it's an automated thing you do. If you were not to breathe, family, you're dead. So if the breath which we breathe in is the spirit, then everybody has the spirit. The spirit can only be labeled as holy or evil, right? According to the person's actions, because the person that breathing in and that person, the breath actually charge up their avatar to carry their true essence, which is their soul, which is they are. So if that soul or that anatomy does evil, obviously, the spirit inside of you can say evil, but the spirit in itself is neutral. So that Holy Spirit, ancient Christians, Elohim thing, that's things we just have to just over and understand. We're on another level from them things, family. And the family who has been there with us from the beginning know what I'm getting at. Yeah? So it was just a short bill. I just had that to say. I just had that to vent, and despite how knackered I may have been from work, I was like, you know what? Good bill for a video, and that's something I really need to get off my chest. Even probably venting, the family can still learn something beneficial from this to help in your ascension. And having said that, family, I just want to big up I like to big up my new subscribers. Trust me, you see, if I had t-shirts and things, they are sending things to everybody, straight up. That's how I am still, yeah. So peace and love. Hopefully one day I'm gonna do another raffle, but something where a subscriber or a couple of subscribers get a t-shirt or something, to just big up the family and show an appreciation for helping the channel grow, and even sitting in and even listening to what I, Sayamon, have to say. So again, peace to the family, divine love, Shem Hotel.